Hey, Teddy K here for Best Buy Plugin, and in this video review we take a look at the Samsung Galaxy Tab S4. This is ultimately a 2-in-1 convertible tablet that Samsung thinks can be great for consumption, but for also getting things done. Generally speaking, things are pretty simple for a 2-in-1 convertible tablet, which is exactly what the Tab S4 is supposed to be. You have productivity on one side and then you have consumption on the other. The consumption is the easy part, and in fact, actually this tablet is one of the best as far as Android goes that you're going to find for that. So the question is the productivity. The price point being what it is, naturally you're paying extra for the fact that you're supposed to be able to get things done. Can you? Well, it's a bit of a mixed bag. It should be noted, of course, that out of the box you are not getting the keyboard. So you are getting the S Pen that is very well known for Samsung devices and it functions a lot like the Note smartphones. But you're not getting the keyboard and you're not getting a mouse. And you're going to need a Bluetooth mouse. If you're going to be productive with this thing, you probably will need a mouse because of Dex Mode. So Dex Mode is that software platform that Samsung has created that is not quite Windows, it's not Mac OS of course, it's not really Android, it's kind of like an offshoot of Android. It's a bit hard to describe because it is almost unto itself a separate entity, at least software, as far as software goes. So how does it work? Well, it works a lot like you would expect a desktop to work, but it has its own learning curve. And as a result, it also has its own little hiccups. But first, the good thing. So the good thing is that you can run multiple Android apps and have them open as windows, just like you would on a desktop interface, right? It's pretty cool. I mean, you could have Netflix kind of playing in a corner and then have like a Word document that you're working on or something else that you're working on. It is kind of neat in the way that you can do that because with Android, it's not that simple to pull those things off. So, okay, that's great. But when it comes to using all the productivity apps that you might want to use, that's where things kind of get a little bit dicey. So, for example, I had very little problem using Microsoft Word. So Word, PowerPoint, Excel, things like that. Those seem to be okay. Where I did have some trouble was with Google Docs. So if I'm writing the same, for example, the written review that I did for the Tab S4, I actually tried writing it on both the Word and Google Docs using the keyboard for the Tab S4. And I had a much easier time using Word than I did with Google Docs. For whatever reason, I would get like these weird kind of, crashes and hiccups, and it was very odd for something that I would have expected to be a lot more polished. If there is a silver lining, it is that there is the potential that these things could be fixed. So if Samsung were to update the software to make Dex Mode more polished, they could probably do that. But right now, I think it's a bit of a crapshoot. So it depends what app you're using as to, that will determine basically what kind of experience you're going to get. Could you be productive with the Tab S4? Yeah, you probably could, but in relation, or at least in comparison to devices that are similar to it, I don't know that you'll be better off for it. So in essence, Samsung positioned the Tab S4 to be the device that you would get for productivity first, with consumption being the bonus. I actually look at it the other way. I think it's actually a consumption device that has productivity as being the bonus. The question is whether or not you want to pay the premium to get that kind of a synergy. I know I haven't mentioned too much about the design and all that. I mean, you've got the AKG speakers, you've got a beautiful, you've got glass on both sides. It's a beautiful device. I don't really need to say too much about that. I think visually that speaks for itself. But I will say that battery life is better. I have noticed some other reviewers noticing that there wasn't that much of a difference compared to the Tab S3. I disagree. I noticed a considerable difference with the Tab S4. It's, for whatever reason, maybe it was a unit I used, but it definitely lasted longer when playing video and when multitasking compared to its predecessor. So if you're looking for something to play video that's going to last you some time, it's going to sound good, the Tab S4 does deliver. One quick note about the S Pen, you will not have anywhere to put it out of the box. Now, of course, if you get the keyboard, you have a holster that you can use to put it in, and the pen works great with the tablet, but you have nowhere to put it. Thankfully, it won't just roll off a table because it's got a little thing on the side that'll keep it from rolling. But other than that, you're gonna have to put it in a pocket, or you just have to keep an eye on it to make sure that you know that you have it, unless you get a keyboard to use as a holster. And that's my review of the Samsung Galaxy Tab S4 for Best Buy Plugin. I'm Teddy K. Thanks for watching.